Have you ever tried to share a really big, important idea, only to feel like it just fell flat? Whether you're in a lab, a classroom, or even a boardroom, getting your message across is everything. So today, we're going to master a skill that helps you do just that: how to make a poster that people actually stop and read.
Oh, you know the feeling, right? You walk into a conference hall or maybe a school event, and you're just met with this huge wall of posters. You try to take it all in, but you're hit with this chaotic mess of tiny text and graphs that make no sense. It's a super common experience, but trust me, it does not have to be that way. So, to get you from poster panic to total poster pro, here's our game plan for today. We're going to start with why posters are still a really big deal. Then we'll dive into the secret sauce of design, starting with your audience, creating real impact, finding that sweet spot between text and visuals, and of course, dodging those common mistakes everyone seems to make.
Okay, so in a world that's all about screens and endless scrolling, you might be thinking, do posters even matter anymore? And the answer is, oh, absolutely yes. They are still one of the best tools we have for cutting through all the noise and getting a clear, concise message across. And seriously, you see them everywhere once you start looking. You've got academic conferences showcasing brand new research, hospitals and schools sharing really vital information, even marketing teams pitching their next big idea. Posters are, for sure, a professional staple.
And believe it or not, the stakes can be pretty high, especially in the scientific community. A great poster isn't just about sharing what you did, it's a massive career-building tool. It can spark those conversations that lead to new collaborations, and hey, it might even win you an award.
So, where do you start? I mean, before you even think about opening a design program, there is one step that is so important it will literally make or break your poster, and that is understanding your audience.
This, right here, is the core idea. Every single choice you make, from the words you use to the charts you show, it all has to be guided by one simple question. Who am I talking to? Your design has to work for them, not just for you.
And this is where it gets really practical. I mean, think about it. If you're presenting to a room full of scientists, yeah, go ahead and use technical language, cite those journal articles. But if you're talking to the general public, you have to completely switch gears. You need to use everyday language and point them to sources they can actually understand and trust, like a major charities website or the World Health Organization.
All right, so once you've figured out who you're talking to, it's time to actually build this thing. Let's get into the essential design principles that create some real, genuine impact.
Okay, if you remember one thing, remember this: simplicity is your superpower. Your main goal here is to fight clutter. A great poster is not a brain dump of every single thing you know. It's a laser-focused, clean presentation of your most important ideas. That's it. Your title, it is your first impression, and you only get one shot. It's the hook that's got to pull people in from all the way across the room. It needs to be clear, it needs to be concise, and it absolutely has to reflect the single most important message of your entire poster.
I like to think of this as the 3-second rule. Someone should be able to just walk past your poster, glance at it for a few seconds, and immediately get the main point. If your key findings are buried in a wall of text, you've already lost.
So how do you actually do that? Well, you create a clear, logical flow. Use really strong subheadings to guide the reader's eye. Keep your descriptions short and punchy. And please, make sure every single visual you use serves a clear purpose and is directly relevant to your message.
And that brings us to a really critical part of the whole process: creating that perfect harmony between the words you write and the images you show.
So what's the ideal balance? Well, it's not just a simple 50-50 split. It's about creating a powerful partnership. A lot of designers actually aim for something like a 20-40-40 split. That's 20% text, 40% visuals, and a super important 40% of just empty space. That negative space is what lets your ideas breathe. Your graphics should bring your text to life, and your text should tell us what the graphics mean.
Now, when it comes to the visuals themselves, here are 3 rules that are absolutely non-negotiable. First, they have to be high quality and crystal clear, no blurry stuff. Second, they've got to be relevant, no fluff, no decoration. And third, they need clear labels and legends that connect them right back to your text, so your audience is never left scratching their heads.
Okay, we've covered a lot of the do's, so now it's time for the don'ts. Let's walk through some of the most common mistakes that can totally sink even the most brilliant ideas. First up, the #1 cardinal sin of poster design: overcrowding. I mean, look at this. When you just cram way too much information onto a single page, you create this wall of text that's just impossible to get through. It's totally overwhelming, and it's a surefire way to make sure nobody reads your work.
Next up,
Aesthetic issues. Using a dozen different fonts or colors that just clash and hurt your eyes, it doesn't make your poster look creative, it just makes it look messy and unprofessional. And it completely distracts from your actual message.
And this one is a big one. You have to avoid low-quality visuals at all costs. Blurry images or, irrelevant clip art, they don't just look bad, they actively hurt your credibility. A sloppy visual implies sloppy work. And that is not the message you want to send.
And finally, don't forget about flow. If your poster doesn't have a clear, logical path for the reader's eyes to follow, you're basically creating a confusing maze. And when people get lost, they don't look for a map, they just walk away.
So let's wrap this all up. Here is your cheat sheet for poster success. Number 1, know your audience inside and out. Number 2, keep it simple in your design and your message. 3, create that powerful partnership between your text and visuals. And finally, steer clear of those common design traps we just talked about.
At the end of the day, a poster is so much more than just information on a board. It's a visual story, and has a beginning, a middle, and an end. So the next time you sit down to create one, don't just think about the data. Ask yourself, what story am I trying to tell?